Okay. Hi. Right. So, Frank, tell me a bit about your involvement with this program.
Sure, I manage the education portion of all of the reduced gravity flights.
Okay.
So we have maybe 4 to 6 flight weeks a year where we invite college teams in. They build experiments and projects, and we let them test those experiments and projects in a microgravity environment.
Great. Now, what would you say about the teams when they first arrive? What are they, say, naive about, or what do you see as recurring themes?
Well, so most of the teams are really comfortable with their own projects. They've been working 6 to 9 months on them, so they've got that down pretty good. It's the new environment. It's the being in a hangar underneath an airplane wing.
Right.
It's tool control. It's the things that we hammer into this. The environment that's the most shocking to them. We try and run a pretty tight ship as far as deadlines and meetings, and so it's a little bit of an adjustment. It's more like work life as opposed to college life.
Right. And do all of the experiments work? Do you care about that? How do you help the teams get ready?
So, whether an experiment works or not, learning is still had.
Right.
The teams, and sometimes the teams learn more from failed experiments than they will from a successful experiment.
Okay.
For instance, if we had an issue this week where it was actually the humidity. It wasn't 0G, but it was the humidity that caused one experiment to go bad. But
Can you give us some details? Details about that.
So they had a powdered substance inside of a canister, and they were trying to measure its escape. Instead, it kind of got compacted down like an old bottle of salt with no pack in there, so with no rice in there. So it just kind of packed down and didn't behave the way they expected.
So I understand the plane makes about 30 0G parabolas, but you're never quite sure what's going to happen until you get out into the atmosphere, right?
So it's a real-time decision making. When we get out there, we're at the mercy of the weather. We're at the mercy of a mechanical delay, perhaps, with the airplane itself. There are plenty of airlines, professional airlines, that do this for a living that still have delays.
Right.
So our plane is no exception. If something's not safe, then we're not going to go until it is safe. But even once you get up there, you could run into a stray cloud, or if you're on a frontal boundary, it might be some dirty air, and so you might not get real clean parabolas up there. So what we get is a little bit of a crapshoot. We've got some really good weather meteorologists that help us predict, but this week we had a really great week. So.
Great. And final comments, what would you say to, students that are thinking about entering engineering at a university? What advice might you give, say, an 18-year-old that's about to kind of step onto campus first time and think about engineering?
So I'd say there are some, first off, we need all the engineers and scientists in this country that we can get. Whether they be from small schools or big schools, we need more engineers and scientists. So the first thing I would do is encourage them. It's not as hard as they may think. It's not as intimidating, perhaps, as they think it might be. But I would tell them to get involved in an extracurricular. Most of the teams that are here are involved in extracurricular teams. These are not classes for the most part. These are clubs that are outside of class that these kids get together and work. This is some really great experience to have in your resume.
Okay.
The going through a project like this is a fantastic resume builder.
And what's your impression of the team from UIUC, the Moon Goons, this year?
I thought they did a great job. They came in and they had to readjust. We fly all of our projects at least 2 flights, and there were some adjustments that had to be made in between the first flight and the second flight. And I think if you ask them, they'd say that there's probably even more adjustments that they could make. Zero gravity is a new environment, and normal logic for engineering doesn't always apply. And so I think they did a great job as a team, and we were certainly happy to have them.
Great. Any other comments?
No, I think that's it. I think we had a great flight week, and we really appreciate all the teams coming out and all the support. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks.